So, yesterday we were actually out at a dual slalom mountain bike race out in the mountains outside of Frederick, Maryland, and I found this great road. I was in a car with a bunch of people, so, you know, couldn't drive it at the speeds that I wanted to. the limit, couldn't drive it at the limit, so I'm gonna go back out there today with the motorcycle. So, without further ado, let's go for a ride. If you ever come to Tower Road, follow it. I'll show you why in a second. Forgive the helmet hair and helmet beard, but so I mentioned following Tower Road. If you ever see Tower Road, follow it, and chances are at the end of that road there may or may not be the tower. I was actually coming up here to see if this was a long lines facility because it's got the telltale square top, but this tower is way too new and the building doesn't match a long lines facility at all. They just weren't manufactured this way. So while this is a very, very cool site and a cool tower, it is not a long lines facility. And there's a tower over there, there's a tower over there, there's a tower right there, and there's a tower right there. I actually found this because I'm not going to out the owner, but there is a helium antenna up here, specifically a sense cap, which is very interesting. And I only discovered it because it reached my house 55 kilometers away, and I thought that was amazing. And so I wanted to come out and see where it is, and lo and behold, it's at the top of a mountain with all these other antenna. But that's probably going to be it for this episode. I'm about out of battery. I'm going to go gas this thing up and head back to Pennsylvania. But it's been an absolute blast of a ride today, and I really hope you enjoyed following along and listening to the Vitpilen 401. All right, made it back safe and sound. Battery totally died, so I didn't catch the last half of that ride. Gambrel Park Hill Road up at the Gambrel State Park in Maryland. Just amazing road. Awesome road. Go ride that road, drive that road if you can. But made it back, no problems. Quite a lot more bugs on the bike than there were before. One thing I did want to mention, I want to thank George C. He's a viewer. He actually made a comment on the video where I backdated the exhaust on his bike, and he was asking about the evap sensor. And he asked what I did with it, and I kind of glossed over that, but it is in the way of backdating the exhaust, and I just kind of took it off and zip tied it out of the way. Well, it hadn't been a problem until he said something. No, until this ride. And I smelled something, and I smelled something burning, and it was hot, and I was going up a hill, so, you know, it's loaded up for a while, and the cat got hot, and it melted a hose. So I'm going to show you what's going on here. Basically, this evap hose here normally sits inside the frame, and you can see it was coming into contact. I had all of this in and kind of tucked back in here, and it was melting on the side of the catalytic converter. This is the evap solenoid that he was referring to. It normally gets bolted in here, and I just have it zip tied up and out of the way. I thought that was sufficient, but I did not pay enough attention to where these hoses and lines were in here. And unfortunately, in addition to that line, this line also came undone. You can see it's actually melted and plugged shut now. I had to pull over on the side of the road and fish all this out and then reroute it so that it wasn't touching the very, very hot catalytic converter. So if you're going to backdate the exhaust on a 2020-2021 Vitpilen Svartpilen, make sure you pay extra close attention to these evap emissions hoses and stuff in here. You don't want any of that stuff melting and, you know, causing a fire or anything like that. But that was my bad for not using enough zip ties and not tucking it up enough in there. Again, thank you, George, for pointing that out and mentioning that. But that's going to be it for this episode. If you liked what you saw, please give it a like, and thank you so much for hanging out.